Check, check, 1, 2, test, test. Alright, Michael, we are set to go.
Boom.
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I am Chad Frankenfield. I have the honor to have my buddy Michael Goodman aboard with us tonight. Michael, how are you?
Not too bad. It's great being here at the racing capital of the world, and excited for tonight's event to get underway.
So tonight we have the Freedom 100. It is the first race of Carb Day for 2021B. This event is usually one of the crazier races we have all season long. Um, Typically, this is going to be a wild one. There's a lot of drafting, lots of side-by-side racing. Michael, I don't know if you've ever actually taken part in this one, but this is kind of how the real life Freedom 100 is. It's just a dicing match. Um, yeah, have you ever ran in one of these?
I believe in the first year we've done this, I think I've ran one, and yeah, I'll have to agree with you. The field size might not be the biggest. I think we're right around 11, 12 cars out there tonight, but sometimes it's just the quality of racing here, not the quantity of the cars out on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, typically I've been fortunate enough to win one of these races, and a lot of it has to do with just avoiding the chaos that entails. It's 40 laps, which is, for elite standpoint, that's not very long at all. So it's going to be pretty interesting. There's no tire wear for the most part. Um, this is about as close as we get to an Indy Lights car. Unfortunately, it's in high downforce trim with the road course wings, so the car is trimmed out as much as possible. In the draft, you're going to see speeds in the 190 range, um, But other than that, I mean, it's going to be an interesting race. Obviously, kicking off our 2021B month of May events here. Last Friday, we had qualifying with Christopher Demerit on pole. Um, Today, obviously, carb day, so we're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Freedom 100. After this, the drivers will head on over to Lucas Oil Raceway, where we will have the Freedom 50 with USF 2000, the Indy Pro 2000 following that, and then the Sprint Car Carbonate Classic, all building towards tomorrow's eighth running of the Richmar Flores Indianapolis 500. Um, yeah, I mean, what are you expecting here in this race here? I mean, it's 40 laps. Fuel is not going to be an issue. If you're driving in this race, Michael, what are you thinking here at the start? Are you attacking and just going for it? Now, there's not a lot of money on the line tonight. The winner does walk away with $10. So, I mean, are you going to ride around? Are you going to be aggressive? What are you doing tonight if you're in this event?
Well, I mean, just from a standpoint that I don't win much, probably be a guy that would want to ride around, and especially not being too familiar with the cars. And I'm sure there's some guys in the field that aren't too familiar with these Renaults, but so they might just sit back and wait to attack, kind of like a Daytona Talladega in the NASCAR series. But for sure, I think you're going to see some of these guys like Alexander Van de Sant, Nick de Groot, some of these guys that are used to running these open wheel cars. They'll be charging hard and making moves early and often and making it very exciting. So there's going to be, I think there's going to be those two different mindsets. There's probably no in between. You're either going to go after it and have a little fun, or you're going to wait around and try to be there at the end as well. But even with that $10 in line, you probably didn't even need to have that. For these guys. These guys are race car drivers at heart and don't need to dangle much of a carrot to get them going and try to get to the top spot.
Yeah, no, not at all. So like I said, it's 40 laps, 100 miles. Lots of drafting, lots of slingshot action here. It looks to me like we have right now Nick de Groot on the pole. Well, I guess we're going to see here shortly what the starting order is. But like I said, I don't really think it matters too much. Typically, this event usually gets between 8 to 12 cars, so it's not a big event in regards to the car count, but typically the racing usually is very good. So, all right, we're going to get ready here.
I was just saying, usually I believe this usually comes down to the wire right down to the stripe, a drag race.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Typically we have
should be fun to see.
Yeah, typically we have a pretty wild finish, similar to the real life Freedom 100. So, alrighty, well, we're gonna get ready to get going here. Alrighty, so we're going to get ready here for 40 laps of action. Nick de Groot on the pole. Let's get the rundown sheet here going. My first broadcast, if you haven't noticed.
Think just going through the lineup here quick as Chad works on the ticker on the pole. Nick de Groot in the number 89 machine. Alongside on the front row will be Alexander Van de Sant in the 97. Row number 2 will be Charles Teed in the 72, and the hot rod man they call Chad Thornquist will be starting 4th on the outside. In row number 3 will be Yari Brupoucher. I've never said that name right. I just probably murdered that name. Sorry, Yari. He'll be starting 5th, and alongside is Chris Willett. I probably mispronounced that name as well. He'll be starting at 6th in this number 7. In the number 7. In row number 4, it will be Presley Sora in the 98, and alongside will be Michael Hasek in the 09. And in the 5th row will be Mark Rebellious in the 08, and then Johnny Thomas, Mr. Excitement, will be starting in 10th in the number 12 machine. And rounding out the field, the 11th driver in the field tonight will be AJ Musselman in the 53. But as far as those 11 cars, Chad, I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of moving, a lot of shaking, and a lot of ups and downs for these drivers in these next 40 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to make sure my mic volume's good. So here in the chat, there's my mic volume's good. As I said, this is the first broadcast I've ever done before, so I want to make sure everything's set to go. So we have 40 laps. Nick DeGroot on the pole, very aggressive driver. He's definitely going to be a favorite for tomorrow's Indy 500. Alexander Van de Sant, always a favorite as well, especially for this race in the 500. Charles T made his first last season in the Indianapolis 500 with us, so I'm expecting a decent show off from him. This is actually one of our bigger fields, so I'm looking forward to this one and getting this one going. So, Michael, why don't you lead us in green?
Yeah, the field will. The pace car is leading the field to the green flag. Nick DeGroot is ready to get on the loud pedal and get this show underway. You'll see the pace car leading down onto pit road, and we're ready to go. Green flag racing here in the Freedom 100, and well, here we go. Green flag is out. Nick DeGroot on the loud pedal, and he's going to try to break away from Alexander Van de Sant, and he will clear him going into 1. Van de Sant tucks in right behind, trying to now go to the outside, try to get that run side by side through the short chute going into turn number 2, and nothing doing right now, but the field is right behind waiting for one of these drivers to make a mistake.
So right now what's going to happen is it's going to defend on the bottom. It's going to be really challenging for Sam to get around the outside. Believe it or not, the driver is actually so it's going to make it interesting as well, especially with the so now we're coming up with turn 4. We're already seeing side by side.
See, even 3 wide, I believe, at one point. Right now, I think 3 wide going down to the start-finish line. Nick DeGroot will hold on and lead lap number 1. And you see Charles T making a charge up there. Van de Sant still trying to hold the outside. See so many people going in that 3rd lane. And, you know, Chad, we see, like as you said, it's going to be hard for Van de Sant on that outside lane right above the white line. How hard would it even be to get out in that 3rd lane?
Yeah, well, it's weird in the Indy car, which you'll see tomorrow in the Indy 500. Guys will be able to hang it out there since the new tire has been introduced. It's very easy to go 3-4 wide even. Like we just but like you're seeing right now, guys are really just trying to work together side by side as it comes 3.
Is there anything a driver can do? Ooh, you see pretty close to line. DeGroot still holds off the field on lap number 3 now we're on. And is there anything anyone could do on that inside line to try to maybe get Nick's car just a little upset to kind of work him up? Is there any way to kind of get him off that bottom line?
No, not really.
just got to get him at the right time at the stripe. And some of these guys have been flirting close with it. Van de Sant and Charles or Chris were trying to do so, but haven't quite done it yet, as De Groot has led all 4 laps completed so far. And as you were talking about, De Groot kind of holding on that bottom line. Maybe that's Van de Sant's strategy, is to try to keep De Groot pinned down as low as he can, burn up those tires. You can kind of see there too, with kind of impressive by Van de Sant. Doesn't seem like he's getting the complete help. That outside line kind of going from a third lane to a second lane, kind of not disciplined enough at the moment to get a run to get by De Groot. As we complete lap number 4, Groot leads. Oh, Charles Teed leads that lap this time by. So that's kind of one of the things you were saying, Chad, is sometimes you don't have to get totally by him, but right when you get by that yard of bricks, just to have that nose in front.
Yeah, and that's the game these guys are going to be playing throughout the first 35 laps.
Ooh.
They're trying to figure out what they can do with the cars. We kind of almost saw Ryder Hunter Ray there trying to get into the grass. Not a good idea, especially here in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But we can see Nick still leading in the front.
Alexander fighting side by side with Charles Teed. Some of these guys going down below the apron. You got that pit road wall. That would not be a welcome sight if you make the move at the wrong time. And let's see who leads this lap. Alexander Van de Sant might have got him at the stripe. No, actually, I think De Groot led that time by, but Van de Sant getting the advantage for just a little bit, but not at the time he wanted to. So far, Nick De Groot dominating on that bottom side. You see, it seems like these guys now, I mean, we're still really early in this race, around lap 6 of 40, but just the aggressive moves. Is this just kind of like an R&D kind of session, playing themselves up, seeing what kind of runs these drivers will get to set it up right on the final lap?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're really trying to do right now. Like I said, they're trying to test it out there. In my experience in this race, you're really, De Groot's going to be tough right now to pass. If I'm De Groot, I'm just trying to on the last lap. Yeah, I mean, these guys are consistently 2-3 wide here going to the corners. It's pretty remarkable. We're still seeing speeds, and like I said, close to 190 miles an hour. Let's see now Nick's the lead. There's some probably
Let's see, down the backstretch they go, 3 wide. Nick De Groot still on the bottom, holding a pretty steady, consistent lead. And can't really tell who's in that red and white Marlboro looking machine, but he's the guy kind of flirting with that top lane almost every lap, trying to see if he can get a run here. And to the line here again, I think De Groot held off the field. That might be Charles Teed in that 72 machine on the outside, see if they can get that run. And man, oh man, you know, I guess the majority of my laps I've taken around this speedway have been in either a
And of course we lost my buddy Michael Goodman. So while these guys are going on, we're gonna throw it over to a Elite intro video while I get this all.
Now we're back. Are we still live? Yeah, this is why you test the broadcast. And just another message I did get from this goodie's good. It says the cars are a little loud on your end. Don't pay attention to what's going on. Are we live, or am I don't even know if we're talking or not.
Oh, we're live now. We might have
Oh,
been
we are
live.
live.
We might have been live the whole time. Like I said, this is why I wanted to do
Oh,
this broadcast tonight.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're live from Indianapolis. Nick DeGroot's still leading. This is why we work the bugs out.
Working the bugs out. Yeah. You guys. I mean, I've been there. I think earlier this season, in the Xfinity series, had some similar issues where stuff kind of went awry, and I believe it's a lot better to be in this situation right now than once you're once you're in a very serious broadcast that's not an R&D one like we're doing here tonight. See Nick DeGroot. Oh, gets turned right. Oh, flipping.
No.
Oh, that's gonna take out. Oh man, they flipping down pit road. Oh, they went pit crews. Look out into the garage, and that's where I think DeGroot's gonna stay. It seemed like a bump draft gone wrong there. And then we'll see get a different look here. Just kind of hooked, got into Van der Sant. I think Charles Teed and actually Van der Sant is being scored as the leader right now. Johnny Thomas up to second. Take a look at what happened there. That was pretty wild. Just bump drafted him. Oh man. Charles Teed flipping as well. Synchronized flipping. And he can't even get scored on the landing because he went in the garage area. So with these cars, with these open wheels, you see the damage to the front end of Van der Sant. They should be able to replace that front wing on there, and he should be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that he should be able to just come in and take the front wing off. That's one of those things. Again, it's just you got to do everything you can to put yourself in a position, and unfortunately, that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's you know, as far as my normal wheelhouse is similar to a Daytona, Talladega, or even iRacing Super Speedway here on the sim, where you know it's going to be the fastest way around is to do the bump drafting. And man, oh man, I see this is probably why I hang out in the back too for these events, because not being that familiar with the pointed nose of these Renaults, that I would be a little scared to do something like that. Unless it was go time of this race, and but sometimes you got to be aggressive. Got to make yourself a little uncomfortable to make the moves to get up front, and sometimes it pays off. Sometimes, as we just seen, it does not. And for DeGroot, Teed, and I think Michael Hosek is being currently scored one lap down.
Yeah, so I worry that Alex, unfortunately,
they're going to be more likely out of the race.
You got a copy there, Goody?
Oh, I got a copy.
Okay, sorry.
Went out for a second.
Yeah, no, I kind of expect Alexander to have some suspension issues here, just by the way he's swerving the car. That's a pretty heavy nose damage on these cars, so I would expect there to be more than just the front wing.
Yeah, just even going down to the car was, we'll see. I believe we disappeared there for a second. Yeah, just that swerving of the car that as he's coming down pit road. So I believe a few cars stayed out. Chris Willite, AJ Musselman being scored first and second. Mark Rabilis is in third, catching back up with the field. Johnny Thomas in fourth, and Van der Sant being scored fifth, but I believe still coming off of pit road. I believe, Chad, did you lose half the field here?
Yeah,
that sometimes happens.
Yeah, this is
this is actually exactly what happened to me. I believe it was a server issue on iRacing's part when I did the Xfinity race earlier this season, and I could only watch half the cars, so that's fun. I believe right now, I believe there's maybe 4 cars out on the racetrack at the moment. The rest of the cars are going to be down pit road trying to get their damage fixed. And that is Van de Sant, Yari, Presley Sora, and Nick de Groot, I believe, is out of the event. So we'll see if any of these guys get off the pit road before they go a lap down. It appears Yari, Van de Sant are all off pit road now. Presley still kind of to be determined. He might be going a lap down here. Unless he's got an early pit box.
Yeah, so it looks like right now we're going to be probably to a 4-car shootout with Chris Wilhite, AJ Musselman, Marco Billis, Johnny Thomas. Yari, I don't know if Yari seems to be catching up, so we'll see what his damage is like. But like I said, unfortunately, you get a big pile up, and it's just kind of what happens sometimes. You're so packed together here. It's going to make an interesting race, especially at the end here, because you're not going to have 3, 4, 5 wide. But like I said, it'll be interesting. So it's unfortunate. Do want to give a couple shout-outs, obviously. Thanks to Goodman for coming on board with me tonight. Like I said, there's going to be some bugs I got to work out before Sunday. Yeah, so we're getting ready for tomorrow's Richmar Flores Indianapolis 500. Thank you to Richmar Flores, C2 Freight, Response Energy, Blue Egg Marketing, at Mega Driver 86, all the partners of the at Mega Driver IndyCar Series. So tomorrow's Indianapolis 500 is the 8th running. It's going to be an interesting race as well. Full field. There's drivers from the best drivers on the sim to guys that are some of the best drivers in Elite. It's going to be a pretty interesting 200 laps tomorrow. I know personally I was trying to run in some traffic earlier, and it's going to be very dicey tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really awesome race. And then obviously that leads us into Sunday night's truck race at Iowa Speedway, the regular season finale, where Jared Rexing is on fire in the Truck Series and Cup Series. But we're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing with Chris Wilhite leading the field back to green.
Back to Green Flag Racing we go. Wilhite hits the loud pedal. He gets a pretty good jump on Musselman here. And Chad, with you're now talking about the 5-car field that we have now, how much more disciplined, or how to make a pass, kind of we seen DeGroot camping on that bottom lane, during that first run when we had all 10 cars out on the speedway. How much easier or harder is it to pass? You see Musselman and Rebellious taking the outside line, so there you see those two guys get disciplined. Looks like Wilhite's going to be the sitting duck, but it still looks like it's going to be hard to pass, as Wilhite's going to be able to hold him off in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take... I can't really remember if you do still get some kind of draft when there's a car directly behind you, but I would assume so, and I think it's enough to allow the guy to keep his RPMs up, which keeps the miles per hour up. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to lay back with at least a car length to 2 car lengths and really just get a huge slingshot and just hope that you can time it at the right time. Like you said earlier in the race, you don't necessarily have to really. You can get alongside just enough to get the nose across the bricks first. That's all that matters. You don't have to have your car in the lead. So that's where it's going to get a little bit interesting. Like I said, we're basically down to a 4-car race. Chris Wilhite, one of our veterans in the IndyCar Series, AJ Musselman, who's come on board as recent. Johnny Thomas is interesting because not a lot of people remember. He actually won one of our first month of May events that we hosted on here. Now, he ran the 250-miler. It was a little bit different than the 500-miler. But he actually won a 3-wide battle across the line, which was a really awesome finish. And he's a guy who actually got bumped last Friday, but because a guy's unfortunately missing, he's back in the race tomorrow. So he's a guy that's going to be fun to watch tomorrow in the 500. But he's really smart, Johnny Thomas said that. I expect him to just ride this next 20 or so laps out.
Yeah, and you've seen, just speaking of the draft, I believe it was Johnny Thomas, who's now in second. He was at about a corner. He went from about 0.3 of a second to right in the mix here with this group. So I think maybe learning something for how quick he sucked up and drafted. Now taking a look on the outside for the lead, side by side with Wilhite. seeing if he can get it done. You see all 3 cars behind him going to that top side, but you can see how hard it is to get that run throughout the corners. Down the back stretch, they're going to drag race, but Willite on that bottom, the shortest way around the track's going to hold on into the lead going into turn 3. And now Musselman and Rebellious are going up on the top side, seeing if they can get any work done. But I got to ask you, Chad, what are your goals going into tomorrow night? And again, you can tune in right here on ERN. I believe that's 7 p.m. Eastern time for the 8th running of the Rich Marr Flores Indy 500. What are you expecting tomorrow for yourself?
I mean, I expect, it's really one of those races where you don't have to have the best car for the entire race. I've been fortunate enough to lead the most laps in I think 3 of them, but it really comes down to the final stint, just being able to put yourself in the right spot. I mean, that's what we found last year. I mean, Sage Karam was winning late and lost it off of turn 4. Stefan Wilson was winning with about, I believe, 6 or 7 laps to go, and he lost it off of turn 4. It's going to be really about putting your car there at the end. I've been known to be an aggressive driver, so it's hard for me to be patient.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be patient. But I really think that's what it's going to come down to, and it's going to be. There's some guys, Brandon Trano, Chris Ramirez, 2 of the best iRacers on the sim, and especially in the Dallara IR18. But we got some guys that are going to compete with Alexander Van de Sant, Nick de Groot. There's a bunch of guys that we have, I think, that are going to compete tomorrow. It's really, like I said, though, it's going to be about how the race plays out. I mean, typically the races have been very green heavy, so you've had to rely on when you pit, when you short pit, when you get out in front of a guy. Typically short pitting is the way to go in the 500, but if it goes super green all the time, guys like Henry Bennett have been on the same field and make it interesting there at the end. So, it's really, if we get a green heavy race, it's going to come down to who can maybe save that extra couple laps late in the race. It's going to be about who's out front at the right time. So, yeah, I mean, it's the Indy 500. Whether it's virtual or real life, you really have no clue what's going to happen. And that's what I expect to happen tomorrow, to be honest with you. But these guys are still trying to work their way around Chris Wilhite here, and it looks like they're getting a little bit closer as we go along.
Yeah, it looked like Musselman at one point did have about a half a car length on Wilhite, but couldn't get it totally complete. And now we're seeing a little 3 wide, only 4 cars 3 wide, coming down through the bricks there, going into turn number 1. And Johnny Thomas, I mean, he is a smart racer, but one of the other leagues I announce in, he is known as Mr. Excitement, because if he has to, he can make those exciting moves as well. He won't hesitate to make them. And he's still holding on to that second spot over Mark Rebellious. So still with only 4 cars, these guys are, besides, I guess, Wilhite in the lead, these guys are shuffling positions, trying to be the guy to get past that 7 car.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting finish here for sure. And so if I'm John Thomas, I'm just sitting here and just trying to see what that time across. I'm pretty sure it's going to take just trying to figure out what it's going to take to put the nose in the car across the race first. And that's going to be the most important thing. Put yourself in a good spot. You're not going to get tire fall off. You're not going to go really bad.
So if you're Chris Wilhite here, is there anything you can do? Do you if you're the leader, do you just sit on that bottom line and hope they don't time it out right, or are we going to see maybe some more aggressive blocking as we are in lap 23, about to complete lap 23, that we're getting close towards the end of this race?
Yeah, I mean, what you can do, and like I said, when I won this race, just 2 seasons ago, what I tried to do is you can kind of tell based upon what the guy, when he tries to get his run going, when he tries to make that run, you can try to put it off a little bit to try to kill that. You can see it a lot of the big tracks in NASCAR where the leader doesn't want to get out to that lead, just get in that right range to get something in the smooth shot. That's what you're going to try to have to do in the second race car. Side. That's kind of what it does. If I'm Chris, you know, race, I'm just trying to figure out where these guys are going.
Yeah, Mark came close to leading that lap last time by. Wasn't able to get it done. There he might have been able to get him at the line. He does. So again, the R&D for lap 40 still in effect. Looked like Mark, and it didn't seem like he didn't really need that big of a run. It seemed like he was pretty close to the back wing of Wilhite on that last run. We'll see what they do this time as they go down the backstretch, trying to regroup and regather. There you see Mark going up on the high side. Johnny taking that third lane this go around, going through turns 3. Almost looked like they were 3 wide for a second. Let's see, like, yeah, it's about a half a car length difference here. See if you can get that run going just right. So it looks like it might be hard to defend. Is he going to have enough help? Let's see. Mark's going to try it again, and he might have had the advantage once again. No, I think they're... Oh, he did lead at the line. So Mark...
Oh, never mind. It was Chris Wilhite. Sorry, my
just able...
a little bit slower.
Yeah, mine... Well, same here. Yeah, just barely... It looked like he... Just a couple feet past the line, Mark did get ahead of him for just a second. Or maybe a couple feet before.
Yeah, now like I said before, that these guys can bump draft a little bit, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to do so. Because you're putting your car at risk along with your car, the other driver. So, as we start to creep closer to 10 to go, do you have somebody here that you think is gonna take this, or do you think this is gonna be the guy to
Man, see if Mark led that time by. I'm gonna take one of these other 3 guys. I think, especially the way Mark is timing this out, I think he's getting it down more often than not these past couple laps. So it might be hard for Mark to defend unless he's kind of playing possum. But for Mark to get in that position once we get under 10 to go, you might see Johnny and AJ try to get by Mark to be that second car to make that run. So man, oh man, now you see 3 wide, and Chris is going to be able to get to a pretty big lead here this lap by. This is where it's going to be tough, I think, to pick one of these other 3 drivers besides Chris. I don't know, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be... I mean, I want to say Johnny Thomas just because I think he's a guy that... He seems to put himself in positions in these big-time events, or just races where there's money on the line. He seems to put himself in a spot to be there. So now we have a couple laps here. We still got about... We're going to come into about 12 to go at this time across, I believe. When we look at our NASCAR leagues, for example, we go into Talladega as a cut race in the Xfinity, our SMRI Production Grand National Series and the JoinAPS.com Cup Series. Now, you're not in either chase this season, but you do have a little bit of skin in the game with Alexander Van de Sant, your teammate running in Cup. He's going to have some teammates to run with at Talladega. Have you guys talked about that yet, or do you feel like that's going to be something that's going to benefit Van de Sant? Because when I look at the drivers that need to get in, I mean, it's going to come down to who your teammates are and who you're willing to work with. Is that something you guys have discussed yet?
We haven't really got too deep into it yet, but I think something similar to kind of what Johnny Thomas has been able to put himself in, in one of these 4 cars left in the field. Usually my mindset is just trying to get around till the end. It usually doesn't pay off as far as getting a good top 5 or a good top 10 finish even a lot of the times. But I was just kind of talking with Alex with his situation, to advance to the next round. He doesn't necessarily need a top 5 or a top 10 to get in. He just needs to control his destiny and be there at the end of the race and not get caught up in anything. And usually my mindset, I know Scott Haney, another teammate at Do Good Motorsports, we like to just sit back and let the chaos happen around us. Dusty, he might be up front battling for the lead, and just see how things kind of play out. But there's been a little talks of that, just kind of as we've seen here tonight. If you're up in the mix, crazy things can happen on a whim. Even if you're kind of close, not really totally getting in the top 5. If you're still hanging around that lead pack in the top 10, you can get collected, and that's certainly I think something for Van de Sant. Just trying to be able to be around there with about 10 laps to go. I think he should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, now Van de Sant actually. This is going to be the only season for him in the Cup Series, because he's going to be running in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, which is definitely one of the top IndyCar leagues in the sim. So him being an open wheel guy, we congratulate him on getting into that series. But it's been interesting to see him work his way up from the trucks to Cup. Now, when we ran the Cup cars here, the next gen Cup cars at Indianapolis, it kind of reminded me of the Indy cars where you had the dirty air, you had to time your runs, you had to figure out how to manipulate the draft and things like that. When we look at these cars, I mean, like I said, you guys are watching this live. I mean, it's actually almost really hard to pass, just because of how much grip the cars have. And as you can see, these guys are trying everything right now to get themselves in front of Chris Wilhite. And like I said, Chris is a guy who's been a veteran in our series. He typically runs the spring, summer season, because the fall he referees football. So he took off tonight. He made sure he had these 2 days off, because obviously it's important to contend for his first 500 win tomorrow. But I will tell you what, this night helps get momentum going into tomorrow. Anytime you can have success in a sim event, that momentum helps carry you over. Now we got Johnny Talmadge in second, and like I said before, he likes to hang and he gets aggressive there at the end of the race, and I think that's what we're going to begin to see here. But I really don't think, for him to clear Wilhite, he's going to need to have a little bit of bump gas. I just don't know if Labilis and Musselman are willing to do that right now, as they both come off of turn 4.
Yeah, that's where I think it's going to be hard. As you see, almost Rebellious is preventing Thomas from getting that run to try to make time that move here. As now the field's going into turn 1, but yeah, it's going to be tough. I think you got the pack of dogs, or the 3 dogs behind him, behind Wilhite, that want to be the guy in position, and they're going to be fighting for it, and that might be the downfall of again, that question earlier, taking Wilhite or the rest of the 3-car field here, is who's going to be the one that's going to be in position, and will the other guys let him get in position, as they're 3 wide for a second there. Coming out of turn number 4, see if he can make that move. He's going to try, and at the line, and Johnny's going to get him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think
no.
I think we're going to be in for a really interesting final lap here. Chris Wilhite did lead that lap, I believe, but it's going to be an interesting finish. All these guys are trying to do everything they can as you come to the line here shortly, when you have 5 laps to go.
Now, is there anything you can take away, too, from the way these Renaults feel in the air to what they're going to be racing tomorrow in the 500?
There is nothing from this race to take away. There's not a thing. And I think that's what makes this race so interesting, and a lot of the guys that run it have ran it every time, because it's just so radically different. It's not even on the same spectrum. I've thought about potentially in the future maybe making this race super hot temps, just so the guy on the bottom has to give up the bottom once in a while. But Now there, I think that's probably the farthest up we've seen a guy maybe get around on the outside. But the guys are definitely starting to dice it up here. Now Mark Rabillas is a guy who's never won an elite race before, so he is going to desperately go for this without a doubt. This is an event he's had circled for a while as well. So
it would be kind of cool to see Mark get into victory lane, even though, like you said, it's not like a points paying event. But I think winning any time in the Elite Racing League is something to hang your hat on, something that maybe can give you again that momentum, that swagger going into future events. That is for sure, as he's trying to fight with Johnny Thomas for that second spot side by side going into turn number 2. Looks like Mark, being right behind Chris, is going to get that position. He's going to look to the outside once again. But down the backstretch, that might leave the door open for Johnny Thomas to put himself in position at the stripe. No, he's going to tuck in behind Mark. And see if he can make a move as they go into turn 4. There you see Mark's a couple car lengths back. See if he can get a good suck up down to the line. Yeah, maybe not ready to peek out just yet. And one thing, every time I race here, Chad, I'm always so surprised once you come out of 4, how long you can wait to make that move to get him right at the stripe. That start-finish line, it always feels like it's closer once you're out of turn 4 than you actually are.
Yeah, I mean, it's all... like I said, it's all about timing. It's all about timing, and these guys are all playing mind games right now with Chris. They're just trying to get him to slip up, and they're trying to just do something different. That's the biggest thing right now. So, as we get ready to come across the line for the 2 to go, it's going to be an interesting finish. I do expect Johnny Thomas to pull this out. I just think he's done everything in the last 25 laps to put himself in a spot where he wants to do it. So and that, to me, that's the most important thing. So as we get closer,
we'll see. We got
a lap and a half away.
Yeah, but 2 laps to go here in this event. Johnny Thomas running second right behind Will Height. Mark Rebellia still trying to make runs as well. But we see AJ Musselman. He's been kind of lagging back just a little bit. And seeing if maybe he's going to wait for the chaos to start.
That's a good point. He could be waiting for a wreck, or he could just be trying to get a big slingshot. So what we're going to find out here as we come across the bricks for 1 to go in the 2021 100. Final lap. At this point, I think it's just going to be no holds barred. We're going to have to someone's going to be wrecking across the line. Now, Mark on the outside is actually going to hurt both of them. They're not going to be able to get that run, I think, enough to get around him on the outside. And if I'm Johnny, I'm really frustrated right now.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to wonder if Johnny's going to try to tuck up. And there you see, here comes Musselman. He was waiting to make that move on the outside. Now they're 3 wide. Oh, boy, this is going to be hard for... Oh, and they wreck! It's just going to be a 2-man show coming out of 4. Does Johnny Thomas have what it takes? Is he going to get him? They're going to drag race down to the line. Coming to the yard of bricks. Who's it going to be? I think Johnny might have had him, but what does the timing and scoring say? I think they're going to give it to Chris. Chris had him at the line.
Chris Wilhite, the winner of the 2021 Freedom 100. And like I said, unfortunately, I think them running like that behind Chris in the back was just enough, for the guy in second couldn't get enough of a run. So what a wild race. I'm glad that Johnny and Chris were able to at least both of them finish it clean there, coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, that was an exciting, wild finish, and too bad Yari and Mark, or Yari was the one kind of limping around. He's going to end up finishing 4th. AJ Musselman, and Mark weren't able to be in the mix there, as well as they put themselves in position at the end, but unfortunately unable to get it done. But again, congratulations to Chris Wilhite. And now he's got a win under his belt at Indianapolis, and I'm sure he's going to be hungry tomorrow to pick up another one.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is just a huge momentum builder. Anytime you can get a win here at Indianapolis, and this race you do need to have everything come together. So the teams are now, all these drivers are going to get ready to go over to the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway for the Freedom 50, Freedom 75, and the Carolina Classic. And then obviously tomorrow's big event, the Richmond, Florida Indianapolis 500. Our very own Dustin Dewar will be singing Back Home Again in the national anthem. So going to be a fun night of racing tomorrow for sure.
You got to call him the Dragon, just to let you know,
The
Dustin the Dragon Dewar.
Oh man. Anyway, so here are the results for tonight's race. Chris Wilhite first place, Johnny Thomas in second, Marco Billis third, Yari Rapachier, sorry, in fourth, AJ Musselman in fifth, Alexander Van Descent in sixth, Presley Soar in seventh, Michael Hosick in eighth, Nick DeGroot ninth, and then Charles Teed rounds out the top 10. Chad Thurnquist will come home in 11th place. We're going to see if we can maybe get our buddy Chris Wilhite here.
Let's see. Otherwise, I can grab him here quick. Unless you want to practice working on it.
No, all you. You can be my guest.
Oh, okay.
Although maybe I should figure it out.
Bring...
Maybe I should try to figure it out.
Okay, you know that's what we're here for.
You know, our guys are probably watching this like I'm such an idiot.
Only giving him more fuel, man.
Yeah, whatever.
And go down to
move
to. There you go.
Broadcast room. Here we go. Chris,
don't worry, I messed this up
we
too.
Got you?
Yeah, you guys got me?
Yeah, Chris.
We got you.
Well, first off, thank you for making the finish interesting, because I have been a dumpster fire in the booth, so at least the finish is enough for people that want to rewatch this broadcast. So I was telling Michael that you know, you in the fall you tend to not be around as much on Fridays because of your work schedule, and you still seem to always find a way to make this week work. So although it's the Freedom 100, it's not tomorrow's race. What does it mean to just get a win here at Indianapolis? And if for anything, what does it mean building towards tomorrow's big race?
Yeah, I mean, we've come so close in all these qualifying races. I think I have a handful of seconds and thirds. This is my first win in one of these night before the 500, so it's special because it's Indy, and it's part of this event. But yeah, just hoping it gives us a little bit of momentum for tomorrow. It's just good to get up there, get in victory lane. Feels great.
Now I got to ask you, Chris. Was there anything while you're out there racing, you held that lead after that restart? Was there any plans? You know, it kind of worked out to your favor when Mark and AJ got together. Was there any plans if all three cars were right behind you coming out of turn 4? Was there a plan to block, or were you just kind of holding that bottom and hoping they just didn't time it right?
Yeah, we were. We had a good 25 or so laps under green. So we got a lot of, you're just kind of gathering data there, right? And I did see a few times there where somebody got good enough of a run to pass me at the start finish. So I was just trying to keep that in my memory brain, kind of see what I was doing, what they were doing. I was definitely going to hold the lone line. It did seem like as long as I didn't get pinched down too much in turn 4, I would be good. So I was just trying to think through that, making sure I had a little bit of an arc. But yeah, when they got 3 wide there, then you don't really have an arc. So I was a little bit worried about that. But yeah, so who knows what would happen if they didn't have the contact. I think we still had enough momentum. We would have been good there.
Alrighty, well, Chris.
Well, again, good. Go ahead.
Chris, you got anybody you want to thank or anything like that before we sign off for tonight?
Yeah, just a shout out to Highside Motor Supports and Bumper Thumper, and just a shout out to the league, Rich Marth Forest, and the Mega Driver 86, all the great sponsors, and Chad, as always, you do a great job, and this is just by far the best event of the year. So, hey man, hopefully we'll be chatting again at some point tonight or tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, I hope I'm in your shoes tomorrow night, because that would be awesome. So.
You're still looking for your first one as well.
Yeah,
I know it means a lot to you. So
I would like to, and then but every year we seem to just keep adding better guys. So now we have Trano and Demerit, and it just never stops. But Yeah.
It's a stacked field tomorrow. So yeah, look forward to see you guys then.
Sounds
Alrighty.
good.
Well.
Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Chad.
Yep. Have a good one, Chris. So, on behalf of Elite Racing League, we want to thank you for watching tonight's Freedom 100. And like I said, thank you for being patient with me tonight. I really had a lot of fun. I just got to get better with all these programs and these stinking windows and stuff like that. But so thank you, and thank you, Michael, for coming on and helping me out tonight. So, but I'm going to sign off from the broadcast. I'm still going to play around with some things here to see, make sure I have my menus better for tomorrow or for Sunday's race. But if you got anything else to add, Goody, you can throw it in there.
Well, not racing tomorrow night. Kind of sad about that. Did not attempt to make the Indy 500 this year, but certainly looking forward to peeking in the broadcast and seeing how the race is. Always one of the more exciting events on the Elite schedule. So looking forward to that. And again, you can tune in tomorrow night right here on the Elite Racing Network, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to come back and have a little fun with us. And I guess who's announcing tomorrow? That'd be the better thing to join them.
Yeah, so we have Rishoff. Obviously, he's back in the booth tomorrow night, and then we will have the normal crew. Hopefully back at some point here in the near future. But yeah, anyway, so thank you again, Michael. We got Marshall Stanley actually as well is going to be joining us, so that'll be his first broadcast. First broadcast with us in Elite, so that'll be exciting to get started. So I'm going to end this stream.